So, Tammy, you had a fascinating story, like at the start of your life, with how you came to Ireland and how you got going. So, for people who don't know, would you mind bringing us through that again?
I immigrated to Ireland with my dad when I was, I think, six in 2003. And we just came over here. It was myself, my dad, and my brother and my dad. Sorry, my brother and my mom stayed at home in Vietnam. And then obviously, like a lot of people have heard the story, but maybe you haven't. But at that time there, it was just like it was a pretty crap time for like just immigrating. Anyone who has immigrated across over to any country, obviously there's a lot of loneliness and a lot of changes. But I went through severe change back then, like at six, you know. Yeah, so when we first came over, we didn't really have anything and like not a lot of we didn't have money, we didn't have like a car, we didn't have anything. Like back then I couldn't even afford for a tam like a, you know them Tamagotchis?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
it was that bad when like my friends were all playing Tamagotchis in school, but I'd be peeking in just to see about what all this is about. And I dreamed to have a Tamagotchi, but like thinking back now, but now I can buy like thousands of Tamagotchis if I wanted to, but that was the start of my life when I first came to Ireland with no English as well. Yeah, I know it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
It was hard
And
time.
how
Yeah.
come you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but like, how come your mum and your brother stayed behind and yourself and your dad came across? Because is that would that be a usual thing to do, or was it just like
Yeah, it was
specific
because if we
circumstances?
moved the family over, I think it was just been a bit too much for the family. And
Yeah.
it's again, like I was a bit older and Nat was a bit younger. So just taking a risk of, I think myself and my dad, if it worked out, it would have been fine as only for two people. But if it was for four people, it was just kind of harder to kind of manage everything then, you know. But I think my dad already originally had a plan that to bring my mom and Nat over in a couple of years' time and the
Okay.
plan then. Um,
Yeah. I think that's common, like you said. I think a lot of families do that. And like I know Vietnam is a beautiful place, and you must have arrived here. It must have been such a culture shock. Like it's cold, it's windy, like I'd say
1000%. It was so cold because in Vietnam it was so hot.
yes.
And I said this on a podcast before, and loads of people was like, "What is she talking about? Why? How come you have never even heard or of what an airplane is?" I've only ever seen an airplane in a book, and I've never seen anyone that's outside of Asia like white skin, like dark skin, anything like that. I've never seen anybody. So the first time when I like went to Ireland, it was the first time ever I have ever seen anyone with like from European white skin.
Yeah.
And that was I still remember it when I first stepped over, like looking at everyone thinking like, why are they so tall? And their hair is so blonde, like your hair, you
Yeah.
know? I was
Yeah,
like, what's
yeah.
going on? I really remembered that. And I was like awe in the airport, like looking up at everybody and like, what world am I in? But I
Yeah.
didn't know
Wow.
what I was getting my like where I was going. I didn't even know
Yeah.
I was going to Ireland. I just
Wow.
arrived at the airport and
You
I
didn't
just
even know you're going to Ireland. Wow. Okay.
no, not
Wow.
really. My mom,
Yeah.
I briefly remember at the airport, my mom said that um my mom said that you were like it's kind of quite a blur, but I remember different stages. Like she said, you just go away and you just make sure you look after your dad and your dad will look after you. And I remember she was crying, but
Hmm.
and then I just didn't know where I was going. All
Wow.
I was my dad said your life my mom said your life will be so much better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like
What age were you if you don't if
mm,
you remember?
six or seven. It's,
6 or 7.
yeah,
Okay. Wow.
it was like my daughter's age now. And
Yeah.
if God, I can't even imagine leaving my daughter or
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? That's wow. Okay.
but
Somebody
obviously
lucky. Mm.
risk, you have to take and that's the massive risk they have to take in order for us to get a better life.
And you settled in. I'm sure it took a while to settle into Ireland. I think you were living in Cavan first, were you? You're saying
We were in Dublin and then we moved
Dublin.
to Cavan. And then I remember I was in school in Cavan and I walked out the door and my mom was standing there.
Oh
I
my
what
God.
the hell is going on? I remember that day, like she was wearing a red jacket. I will never forget it. It was honestly, hands down, was one of the happiest days of my life
Oh,
when
that's so
my mom first came
lovely.
over. And after when my mom came over, then everything was just plain sailing. I didn't have that loneliness, sadness.
Yeah.
I just had my mom to care for me, and that was it. And yeah, we lived in Cavan for a while, and that was where Nat kind of started badminton in the car park.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that he didn't have friends. So I think he was playing badminton with my dad. And then they actually drew a badminton court in a car park.
Oh my
Just,
God.
I know it's if you do that now, you'll probably get fined or so, but it
Yeah.
was a abandoned car park and my dad
Yeah.
just drew a court, badminton court in it. And that's how Nat started to play badminton, was in Beltur with Cavan.
And then
Well, I'm just
obviously
trying
into
to
the
think.
Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah,
What a
yeah,
start.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know there's so much that like has happened so far and yeah, but we're very grateful.
And how did you get
Wow.
introduced then to weightlifting?
Um, I was always active in sports because when I was in Cavan I did Irish dancing. So I think I got a lot of like explosive from Irish dance because there's a lot of jumping.
Yeah.
I always was active into school sports, everything. And I always loved going to the gym. I don't know why I loved going to the gym. My dad's always loved sports, so I think I must have got his genetics then. And
Yeah.
I just went to the gym by myself all the time when I was 14, 15. Believe it or not, I actually had to use somebody else's membership because I wasn't allowed to go to the gym because when you're under 16. But I had to like, it was like,
Oh,
What
oh,
happened?
she got cut off, I think.
Okay. She'll be back.
Yeah, no, nothing
Yeah,
happened our
she'll
end,
be
I don't
back.
think.
No, no, no.
Got cut
She'll be
off.
back. Yeah. This
But
meeting's being recorded. Yeah, I should be back. She can pick up where she was talking about just using someone else's membership in the gym.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, we can just start again there.
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck me, opening the door and her mother standing there. Jeez, and you bring
oh,
the tears in my
wasn't it
eye.
so like, yeah, I was getting
Wow.
teary even thinking about that. And for such a small baby to be alone, like six, without not alone, but you know yourself,
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, of
like
course.
6 or 7, and being her mom saying, "Look after your dad." Jeez, even that. Like I've got like, well, obviously Emily's 9, but
Yeah,
like
do you know what I
it's
mean? It's just so
it's
young, so young. Yeah. They're a
jeez.
fascinating family,
Yeah,
like
I know.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Hopefully she, oh, here she
Oh,
is.
here we go.
Good woman. There
my
she is.
laptop, I charged my laptop, but it just seems like it's dead.
Yeah, that's okay.
No
Sorry about
problem.
that.
No problem. Yeah, this is pre-recorded, not live. So all
Oh
these
gosh,
little
Jesus,
things are
sorry about that.
you're fine. You're
Oh
good.
my
You're
God.
good. Take your
Right, I
time.
got this here.
Yeah, you get yourself sorted out there, and we can just pick up from the you were saying about how you had to use someone else's gym membership.
Yeah. How weird and how like how do I say it? Oh my God, there's my son's. Let me take this off.
Happy birthday to someone, is it?
Oh my God, it was a month ago. So yeah,
Happy birthday.
they're still there.
Cute.
Sorry about that. Sorry, where were we?
No problem. So yeah, you were taking us through how when you started going to the gym, you had to use someone else's gym pass because you weren't old enough.
Yeah, I was 14, 15, and you had to be over 16. So I was using somebody else's gym pass. And I just went to the gym and I seen this girl wearing a six pack, not wearing a six pack, had a six pack. I asked her, what did she do? And she said she did CrossFit. I joined a local CrossFit gym. And then the first day I was in there, they said to me, like, what? Try the snatch, which is one of the movements in Olympic weightlifting. And I tried it, and he was like, "You're actually really good at this." And he said, "I'm entering into a competition." So I just did my first competition.
Wow. So that yeah, so your foray into it was fairly quick.
Yeah, very quick. My first competition, I think I qualified for junior Euros. I think, yeah, I remember that. It was happened very, very fast. And back then, when you're like, I was one of the first females that went to World Championships as well for weightlifting. And there was an article and all about that. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't
Hmm.
understand why an article was out, but again, it was about women in sport.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
which
And
didn't exist back then.
no, and it's, thankfully we've come on an awful lot, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
But Olympic weightlifting, like I've done a little bit in the past myself, and I think it's hard to understand how
sorry.
difficult it is, but like how strong Tammy is. So I know like you can lift double your body weight and things
Yeah,
like that, which is so
I
difficult.
used to.
Yeah, no,
I
it's,
used to, not anymore.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it's still not too far away from your talents, Tammy,
Oh
but
God.
it's
Like if I
yeah,
wanted to, I could, but I just said no. But like I would say now, thinking back of it, like how the hell did I used to do that?
it's
yeah. I,
incredible.
I saw you doing a podcast and you said you could lift, was it 80 kilos
Yeah,
of your
it
or
was like a
something?
snatch.
Okay,
It was that, and then clean and jerk was double body weight, but like my max was over double. It was like 100 kilos and
okay.
105.
So I am complete not like I'm complete dummy when it comes to all
Yeah,
this, and maybe a few people listening are. So let's try and let's explain the differences in them,
yeah,
and because I'm not sure.
yeah. So a snatch in Olympic weightlifting, you have two lifts. One is the snatch, and one is the clean and jerk. The clean and jerk is what my favorite lift is. So basically, there's two lifts. Combine them together, then you have a total. And then in the snatch is basically is from ground overhead, and you catch it from. You have to literally start in a like a deadlift position, but wide grip, and then you literally have to push off the floor so aggressive in order to get that bar floating up and catch the bar underneath in an overhead squat.
Okay, okay, and you have to hold it there for a certain amount of time.
You do.
No,
Hands up
you just
and
have
things
to
like
stand
that.
up and hold it, but it's so
Okay,
so technical that it would take years for you to literally get the right technique.
It's
okay,
so technical, and I learned the clean and jerk, but I never really mastered the snatch. I found it difficult, and it's scary when that bar starts getting heavy. This is obviously how brave Tammy is as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're lifting maybe double your body weight or something, and you're like, oh my God, like if this goes wrong, like you can
mm,
really hurt yourself.
Oh yeah.
How did
1000%.
yeah, how did you deal with that, Tammy? Like, because it does get scary when it gets heavy.
Um, you just kind of have to overcome the fear. The
Yeah.
more your fear of the bar, the more the bar will feel heavier. If you just don't really fear of it and just really don't give it,
Yeah.
you just try not to care about it so much, the bar will get more up. Does that make sense? I always
Yeah.
try to like play mind tricks, game mind tricks on myself. Like what I used to always do is, and people always ask me this, and now I will probably say it out now. So I used to always add 1 kilo in the mid in inside my snatch and 1.5 kilos in the middle. So the bar would be 15 kilos. I've never said this before, and I'm going to give my secrets away here right now. So this
Sure.
is how I always found to improve. Um, my bar was 15 kilo. If I was snatching, I'd add 1 kilo and 1 kilo, and then I'd jump on my normal weights. And then my clean and jerk, I'd add 1.5 and 1.5. So, and then I'd jump on my normal weights. But I was telling myself that, right, it's 35 kilos on the bar, 40 kilos on the bar, 50 kilos on the bar, 55. But initially, that extra 2 kilos, it was, I was always doing extra. So I'd be doing 17 kilos, 37 kilos, 47 kilos, 57. Does that make sense?
Yes,
And
yeah.
then when I get to my top heavy weights, let's say example 70 was on the bar, but I actually did 72. I used mind tricks from my own brain. I keep telling myself, I've noticed that that worked for me.
Okay.
So that's what I did. And then it worked.
So you were lying to, playing a trick, like you said. So you had always had that extra 2 kilos in the bar. So you were always more comfortable than you thought, really, when it
Yeah.
comes to competition then.
Yeah. So example, we would be training up to, I'd say today's lift was 90 kilos, but I'd have two 1.5, which is 3 kilos added on extra. So I'd have 93 kilos.
Got you. Yeah.
So if
right,
today was
okay,
90%, I'm actually doing 93%.
So those little increments made all the difference.
Yes, it made a lot of difference. Loads of people used to ask me this, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I do it. I go, but now I'm out of the game now, so that's the reason why I do it. It helps me mentally, and especially when I'm trying to increase onto my maximum weight at 90%, 95%. But instead of hitting 90% all the time, I'm hitting 93% all the time. That was my secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were asking me like, "Oh, does it help the bar to oscillate? Does it bounce a bit more? Or why do you do this?" I'm just like, it's just mind games. It's literally trying to trick your mind. At the end of the day, sport is all about mind
I
games.
was just gonna say that, isn't it? It just
Yeah,
shows you, like, I mean, th that type of thing can transfer over to whatever sport you're playing.
yeah,
It's so much of it is in the mind, isn't it? Like you
yeah.
can
No,
convince
so true.
yourself of failing as well. I mean,
Yeah.
as well as succeeding. I mean, it just that can be so powerful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like when I would be snatching, example, if I was trying to snatch, we were doing block snatches, and the weight would be my max block snatches is 80 kilos. Was it 80? I think it was 80, 82. I can't really remember. But I think when I was working up towards my like 90%, and I would tell myself it's only 75 kilos. But deep down, I was lying to myself, but I was only tricking my mind. But I knew it was but I was snatching 77 kilos. Where
It's
you
Wow.
tell your
incredible.
mind is so different compared to what reality is.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
figured out that worked out for me, but I've never told my secret before. So here
Oh,
it is.
no, we're honored, Tammy, that you shared that with us. Honored. And what was it about Olympic weightlifting that you fell in love with? Because it is kind of like it's not for everyone. Like you
Yeah.
must have had a special bond with it.
I've always kind of struggled to find my own sport. Like I'm so small and I'm my personality, I'm very aggressive. Well, not very aggressive, but like, I wouldn't be afraid. I'm not shy at all. So I was trying to incorporate on what my personality matched and also what my muscle type was and what my sport was. I tried badminton. Oh, I hated it. Like I tried to be my brother's, do my brother's sport. It just wasn't for me. And I just loved weights because it was quick, fast, explosive, and it suited me as a person. So
Yeah.
that's what I loved about it. It's just and it's an adrenaline buzz. Do you know when you're going for a full max out, it's walking towards it. It's like you're trying to calm yourself down and then that lifts, like you're like boom, you're like, oh my God, I did it. And then you stop, you're like, oh, that's all.
Yeah, because you always see, like, well, not always see, but a lot of the time you see when someone does that, they're really pumping themselves up for it. And then
Yeah,
after they do it, there's always kind of a little come down. And a lot of the time they wobble a little bit. It's like they get a rush of blood, or maybe it's the adrenaline.
yeah.
And then they kind of stumble. Do you ever see that, Claire? Even they stumble a
Yes,
little bit after. It's like nearly they're gonna faint.
Yeah,
literally.
like if you do like for the snatch and clean and jerk, sorry, this the clean and jerk, obviously there's so much weight. Like I was competing at 49 kilos and I had 98 kilos. You can imagine if you're 100 kilos, you'd have 200 kilos on your windpipe, on your shoulders here. So it puts pressure on that your windpipe and the airways here. So if you don't like breathe in and get oxygen into your muscles or into your lungs, basically,
Mm.
you go a bit dizzy,
Busy.
and
Yeah,
then you have to
yeah.
drop the bar down, and you get really dizzy. That's what happens when the
Uh,
timing's not correct, and that's why some people would faint, and especially like if you're cutting weight as well and you're dehydrated, that's why you would get that a lot.
How difficult was that, the cutting
okay.
weight? I know with the weight classes, obviously they're so strict and that must be tricky. Or was that difficult for you?
Yeah, it was difficult, but it wasn't difficult on my mind. It was
Okay.
difficult for the first week I had to do it, but I knew like I'm just so when I want something and when I have to achieve something in this certain wait amount of time, I know what I have to do in order to get there. So the cutting weight and the cleaning and easy eating,
Mm.
sorry,
Clean eating?
eating. Yeah, I can't even say the words there right now. The eat cleaning part isn't the most like hardest for me. It's just more the first week of the mental part of it. But I think it depends on your mindset, basically.
Hmm.
but I didn't really struggle a lot on clean eating. It took a while to get used to it, but I knew at the end of the day what I had to do in order to get there. So I said to myself, like, this is what you have to do in order to get to the goal you wanted to. You asked for this, so this is the reason why you have to do it. Does that make sense?
It does, it does. And I mean, like your mindset just shines so bright when you talk about like, you're so determined.
Yeah.
Like, were you born like that or did you get like that, do you think?
I think honestly, it all comes down to when I was younger, I'm not having anything.
Yeah,
I
you
would
really
have
have to.
to like I didn't have English, so I would have to have learn English 10 times harder than somebody who already was born with English. I didn't have money, so I knew I had to work 10 times harder for anyone who was born into money.
Yes.
So like we I always knew I had to earn my spot to be there. So that's why like I think maybe it comes from my younger
Mhm.
self and how much hard work that I know I have to like willing to take in order to like achieve whatever I want. Does that make sense? Like,
It absolutely makes perfect sense. And it's just so inspiring to even listen to you, Tammy. Like, I mean, you should
really?
be going into like, motivational speaking. I know that you retired last year
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just listen to you. It's so motivating. And since you retired last year, well, what I want to ask you first was you really put Ireland on the map for Olympic weightlifting. I know we had some success, but you have been shining success in the area. Like that must have been a really proud moment for you too.
Yeah, it was, but I think when I was in it, everything just kind of felt real numb and I didn't really know what was going on. But now I really understand the aftermath of it, that there was no sort of media in anything got to do with weightlifting. I did feel like a slightly bit of pressure because I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do here? But I then knew how to turn that pressure then into a smarter way, a different way of thinking. Does that make sense? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't let that pressure get to me. There was one or two stage when I was really, really burnt out. That was when you first approached me for the
Mhm.
podcast. It was this
Yeah.
time last year, and I didn't have the energy or I didn't have the courage to actually speak myself out because I felt too much pressure of the whole Ireland that I was watching. Because I knew coming into the second year of trying to qualify, no, trying, yeah, we were trying to qualify, but the second year I didn't want to be the first one just to ever medal and
Mm.
just be a once off medal. That's just not me at all. So I knew second year coming in that I had to earn my spot there again in order to medal. So I felt a lot of pressure. That was when you first approached then.
Right.
And I was like, oh God. But I then turned that pressure into like more motivating. And yeah, that was that was it. But yeah, you would kind of say that I did kind of bring Ireland a little bit, but
A little
I
bit. I
don't
think
really
you're
know.
being very
That's,
modest
yeah, I was
there,
gonna
like
say
very
that. Yeah.
modest.
But I don't really want to be like, oh, I'm this or that. I do know I have done it, but I do really want the younger generation to rise up even more. I want
Hmm.
people to fill the Olympic qualification spot that I didn't do. I
Yeah.
want people to chase. I want people to break. Like, I want people to get that silver medal. Don't
Yeah.
just go for the bronze medal that I got. Try break me. Like try say like, oh, she's done got the bronze medal. I'll go for the silver. That would be my attitude. Do you get me?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And in terms of like last year and coming to that decision, because I was following your journey all along, and I know that you had the Olympic qualifications that you were talking about how difficult it was to get in those rankings.
Yeah.
And then you had the Europeans, I think, and then that was you decided to retire after that in Phuket. Like,
Yeah.
was that a difficult decision to make or?
No, it wasn't difficult because I knew I was coming back into sports just only for the qualification and then I was leaving again because no way I would stay in this all my life. I even look at Nat now, still being a professional athlete. I'm like, how the hell did you do this all your life? I'm like, oh my God, I can't. But again, I'm just so completely different to him. But it wasn't a hard decision because I knew already that I was leaving. A part of me still kind of thought, will I stay back and try get another medal and make it 3 years back to back? But then I thought to myself, I just felt like the juice was not worth the squeeze for me. Um,
Love it.
I just feel that when you're self-employed, you do
Yes.
everything yourself. You know yourself, like you are not under any sort of rules, or you make the rules by yourself and you do what you want when you want. And I've been like self-employed and literally like since I was 17. So to go into a system, it was really, really hard to manage. And I was like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of this.
Yes, yeah.
Free again.
Free, exactly, because it
Free
Yeah,
is so
again.
intense, isn't it? And like,
yeah.
I really wanted to ask you, Tammy, as well. And I'm so impressed with your work ethic since you were a child. I know that your mum and dad had a Chinese, and then you've got your fantastic beauty businesses. But like, your schedule must have been insane with obviously being a business owner, training, competing. Like, did you ever sleep? Like, it must have been insane.
You know, the last 6 months that in qualification, I promise you, and my husband will vouch for this. I cried nearly every single day
Oh my
in the
God.
last 6 months of qualification because it was so hard. And I promise you, like, this comes from deep down at the bottom of my heart here right now. And maybe it's maybe one of like the really, really like realest podcasts that I've really spoken about, like the last 6 months of it. It
Mhm.
was just, I hated every second of it
Yeah.
because my income, money came in, money went back out again. I was nearly like, I was so broke.
Yeah.
When I finished qualification, and when I finished qualification, I said to Mark, like, I had savings. I had no savings at the end afterwards at all.
Mhm.
And I knew, and I'm like, what did I do? Why did I do this to myself? And the financial thing of it really put a burden on me and my shoulders. I left the businesses and it was a really, really struggle. And business started to go down because I wasn't present. And then because all my focus was into Olympic qualification, but all my staff knew, so they never bothered me. But they kind
Yeah.
of kept on saying, keep going, keep going. But when the owner's presence wasn't there,
Yes.
things just went different. You know yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So I knew it was coming to the end, and there was a couple of people that have said to me like things are not the same without you not being there. So I knew that my businesses need me.
Hmm.
I yeah, basically that was it. But I knew deep down that until qualification was over, I'd be back. When once I get myself back, I know business will start going back up again, and it did.
Yes.
So I feel like my best side is my entrepreneur, not my athlete side.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of your other side, we'll do a little bit of change of pace here because there's a question that I always ask the guests.
Yeah.
And you kind of spoke about a little bit of it earlier on when you tried your brother's sport, but is there any other sport that you would have loved to have tried and actually maybe had a go at?
I knew deep down, there was one regret that I have always made. When I was in school, I we were doing gymnastics in school, and the one of the teacher that was teaching gymnastics says you're really good.
Yeah.
Again, it came, yeah. He says you're really good. I was in about first class, and he says I want you to come to my gymnastics club. And I said I don't have a car to go.
Oh,
Things would have been changed so differently. Again, he's seen how explosive I was because we were doing a show and he gave me this routine to kind of to do it, and he didn't pick anybody else. And he kept on asking me every week, you should come to my gymnastics, you're really good. But again, I was so poor. My dad didn't have a car, we didn't have transport to go. So gymnastics would have been the one that I would have picked. But gymnastics and weightlifting are very similar to each other.
They are.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
yeah.
this.
So
Yeah.
if I would have stick to gymnastics, I think I would have got somewhere as a kid.
I think you've got that mindset, doesn't she, Claire, where you kind of have that
Yes.
determination where no matter what you did, I think you would have at least given it 100% anyway. I mean,
Yeah, kind of.
yeah, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like if I want something, I go full force at it. I'm
Mm,
I'm not shame of my dreams at all. That's the one thing that I have learned across all my life is I'm not fearful to say on what I want. Because if you don't say on what you want and don't say and speak out to the universe, how is
yeah.
it going to happen?
How's
Yeah.
it gonna happen? Yeah,
Yeah, because so
exactly.
many people are like that, aren't they? Like where they're it's the fear that holds them back. I mean, I have a book there somewhere. You've probably all read it. What's it called? Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it's very famous. Most people have read it. And it's so true, isn't it? It's
It's
like,
so true.
mm,
And I
Yeah.
think Tammy, like what obviously shines with you, I'm sure you hear this all the time, is like the hungriness of how you talk about things. You
yeah.
Yeah.
know, you're not like, oh, maybe I'll do that next year, or, the year
Mm,
after. You're like, no, we're doing this now. And that's just so refreshing to hear as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I think
Love that.
that a lot of people say because I still have so much energy. I'm still 28. I'm still in my 20s.
they,
And I envision my life to be like where I want it to be since by the age of 17. I knew I wanted to marry young. I knew I wanted to have kids young, and I knew I wanted a house young. And I knew I wanted kids young and I wanted my own business. So I have learned that you kind of have to make opportunities for yourself. Opportunities don't come to you. You kind of have to carve your own path. And that's what I've learned growing up as a kid when I had nothing.
Mhm.
That if you don't look for opportunities, or if you don't ask for help, if you don't say out loud what you want to do, or if you don't like go towards your goal aggressively, then how are you supposed to achieve it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watch other people in the likes of in their athlete career, and I learn off them. I watch people, example like there was who has been really really good in example like the high top end athletes. You
Hmm.
watch them for years, 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 and then they don't leave the stage at the right time,
Hmm.
and then their name just goes to shit.
That, yes, exactly. Get out on
Yeah.
top is kind of what they
Yes.
say as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the one thing that I've learned of other athletes. I watch their journey. I don't know, my brain is kind of quite different where if I watch people's journey and I watch people's story, if I could take a part of their little leaf, then
Yeah.
I'd do that. So I
Yeah.
learn of every athlete that I have see or feel or watch. I
Which
try
is,
and learn off everybody out there,
you're
not
just
just the best.
soaking it all up like as you go along, which is a great way
Yeah.
to do things. But just one thing that stands out so much, and it's, this comes up in so many areas of life, but because you had to work so hard for the things you've achieved, and already at 28 you've achieved miles more than most people at 28. Like, it's incredible. But do you think that the start in life that was difficult has ultimately helped you, in terms of where you are now?
1000%.
Hmm.
A thousand percent. They say tough times make good men, well, women.
Women.
Good times make weak men. And I truly believe in that.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to say, like, I suppose if you're born with everything, you're lazy. That's not the case either. Like, but it's just interesting when you see different people going through life, how some people excel, and then some people don't. And it's just very interesting that generally, it's the people who are hungrier, like you've explained, for success that do get there.
Yeah, no, 1000%. Success doesn't happen overnight. And if you say that, am I successful there now? Like to me, I still don't think I'm there yet. Does
Yes.
that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I I am successful in like I have two amazing kids. I have a warm house. I have a stunning husband.
Brilliant.
Looks like that's success to me, you know, and anything else outside, like I might have different businesses and this and that there. In my business life, I still don't think I'm there yet. I still feel like I have more to give. Do you get me like?
Yes, that like
But
it's
Yeah.
success like different to different people, like what's your success or what's
Yeah.
this person's
Exactly. It
success?
means something different to everyone. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but in a way that like I still feel like I'm still at the bottom of the ladder compared to other entrepreneurs or other star athletes, you know, out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But to me, I have given my all and so what I could give. Does that make sense? To
Yeah.
Yeah,
from what I
good.
could give out to the time I had. Like imagine like I come back 2.5 years, I bring back 3 bronze medal. That's bad, isn't it?
That's incredible, Tammy. So talk to us about your next chapters now. I'm sure there's a period of adjustment between announcing the retirement and, moving more
Yeah.
into, I imagine, the business world. What's next for you?
I have set out that I do want to be a TV presenter, but I felt I've done like couple of rounds of interviews and all that stuff, and I still don't feel like I'm ready to be that TV presenter yet.
Okay.
I still feel like because I've done like TV presenting lessons and um I was like, no, I just don't think this part is for me. Not yet, even anyways. Maybe later, when I'm really, really like I want to do it. Does that make sense? But
So
then I said like I met up with like a friend of mine and she's so much better than me. And she says to me, like, Tammy, you just have a natural gift at being an entrepreneur because I'm always sending her shit. Like I'm always like, what do you think of this or what do you think of that? And I have ideas for this. And she's like, you have a natural gift of being an entrepreneur. Just take advantage of it. So I did. So I only need one person to say that to me. And I said, right, okay, going forward, if I have any gut instincts about something, I'll go for it. And so far, like we're on to, I don't want to say yes, but I have been cooking something behind the scene for a long time.
exciting.
But I can't say yes because it's not, I can't say it. Does that make sense?
Top secret. Top secret.
But until its time is correct and announced, then yeah, we're on to our fourth business right now. Yeah, third salon, one gym, and I feel like I have more to give.
I feel like you should stop making the rest of us feel so bad. Looks so
No,
good.
absolutely not.
I'm joking.
I want you to
We're going to
listen
edit all that
and
out.
no,
I'm
absolutely not.
kidding.
I want to be able to
Phenomenal. It is phenomenal what you've built. Like it's just
no, absolutely not. Please don't think like that.
no, no,
I
no.
want you to be like to think, oh God, if that girl wants to do it,
Mm.
like I can do it too.
Yeah, which is so encouraging as well. No, it's
You
just
Let,
know?
let's bring her
fantastic.
back down to earth, right? So let's tell us what you're not good at.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Um,
What are you not special at? This is one of
Yeah,
my questions.
yeah, exactly.
I'm not good at singing.
Singing, yeah,
You have a
yeah,
lovely voice to talk to, which usually
yeah.
says that the person can sing. So you
No,
should,
I'm actually not good at singing. And you know what I'm actually really bad at? I'm really bad at reading. Even though I want to write my own book and I've written my book, I probably need to send this to a publisher as well, just in case if you know anybody who publishes
absolutely.
books.
Who's
Um,
listening? I would buy this book. I would buy this. Yes.
I've actually have it written out, but I can write a book, but I don't like reading.
I'm like that as well. I'd
Mm.
be more like an audiobook person. I just get
Yeah.
distracted. Yeah, I'm like that too.
I think that's ADHD because I've only diagnosed last year with ADHD.
It is kind
And
of a
yeah.
neurodiversive trait as well, I think. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is, it is. And like
Mm,
I think though what you're saying, Tammy, about the book is definitely like a brilliant route to go down because it is literally just listening to you is so motivational. I'm sure everyone who listens to this podcast will hear it as
mm.
well.
The
And
audiobook would be brilliant.
yeah, it'd be brilliant. Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's
Fingers
definitely
crossed. And I do believe that. I do know deep down that I'm a good, honest, generous person. Like I want everybody to succeed who stands next to me. Like I want them to probably achieve better than me. So I can chase after them. Does that make sense? Like I don't want badness for anyone. I want everyone to succeed. And I know that if I keep doing the way I am, like I know I will meet the right person that could help me a bit more along the path. Like I was in, oh my God, I couldn't even believe this the other day. I got a message to say, would you do a talk for us in an event? I said, yeah, of course, no problem. Like I would never say no to anybody, you know. But I didn't realize that I was on a panel to speak with the example, the likes of, Business Post.
yes, magazine,
CEO
newspaper.
Business Post was on the talk. There was another lady, Murray, she owned like some enterprise that was worth like 10 million. And then, do you know that chocolate, black and green
Green and
chocolate?
blacks. Yes, green and
Green
black.
and black, worth of 300 million. She was on about an hour and a half before me. And then I was on. I was like, what? is going on right now. I just couldn't believe it. But again, I asked the universe because I said it on in front of the audience. I said, I want business friends. Can somebody who's better than me come and help me?
And you got it.
Yeah. Well, they
Oh
always
yeah,
say, what's the saying? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So,
yeah. I do genuinely believe that, and I felt like I could probably be the dumbest girl in that room there. But I had so many like women, like leaders in business, reach out. And we're going for a coffee. I was like, oh my God, she asked me for a coffee. I'm like, yeah, let's make friends.
Let's make friends. Let's network. Let's network. Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I definitely think that something good along will help me along the way. Maybe in business, maybe writing a book, maybe to publish a book. You never know who's listening to this or
Exactly.
anything. So you never know where you can hear me next.
Very excited to see where that goes. And I just think it's going, your trajectory is just going up, Tammy, all the time. So this is just the
Here's
beginning
top.
for you. No, it's the truth. So yeah, you're saying that you're not special at singing, but to date in your career, been the most special moment for you?
Well, it's a special moment because I
The
have so
most,
many
there's
special
so
moments.
many. It's hard
apart
to
from this
pick one, I'm sure.
podcast, obviously.
This podcast. Uh,
The best.
one of the first podcasts that I've been real of after post Olympics. There
Oh,
you
we're
go.
honored. We're honored for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
so much. Um, but in sports and business or in life and family or what?
I suppose, yeah. Well, in your career, in your sporting career up till now, what was your moment where you're like, this is really special? Like, wow, like,
I thought the moment for me was when I won Ireland's first medal. I cried so much because I went through this massive hurdle in business beforehand, and obviously we were going through a court case that time. We were like planning issues that I had to pay so much money for retention. It's just a lot of stress before the actual medal itself.
hmm,
And overcoming that barrier, I'm like, oh my God, I overcome that barrier and I still bought Ireland's first medal back. Like people thought I cried so much because I bought Ireland's first medal. It wasn't that. I cried because it meant
really.
more how I like the amount of stress I was before that was severe,
Yeah.
but nobody knew about that stress. It was only myself, my husband, and my coach knew. Nobody else knew. I was walking into the gym that I knew that I had solicitors' letters and planning enforcements after me, but I still had to go in and train every single day. And I just blocked that out,
It's hard.
overcoming that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I have two really, really memories, and then the second, obviously, like that's one of the top kind of like memories for me. And
Yeah,
the second was being so burnt out, like being so burnt out when I was crying for 6 months straight and I didn't want to go to training and I lost myself.
yeah,
And overcoming that part as well. Losing yourself when you're hesitating, oh, will I go into Paris for croissants with my teammates or not? Or will
yeah.
I sit at home in the training camp just to get extra rest? Where that decision shouldn't even be hard.
Yes, of course. It was.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, if I don't rest here today, then I'll be tired tomorrow. I'll do so much walking, and if I eat a croissant, my weight will go up.
Oh
Like
my
yeah,
God.
that was the
Yeah.
point where I lost so much of myself. Eating a Caesar salad, I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't eat that sauce because it's so much salt in it. I was just so deep into being so negative.
Yeah.
But the minute I was able to switch and turn myself around and got myself out of that hole, I think that was one of my two top pinnacle moments that first medal and second medal and overcoming that barrier. The winning part, to be honest, I don't even know where the medals are.
You're like, they're around somewhere. Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
my
It's
mom has them somewhere, but it was it wasn't the medal that I have, the actual piece of metal. It was the journey
just
itself.
gonna say that's the journey. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
journey. Yeah. It's just fascinating, Tammy. And just before we have a final little cute little quick and fun quick fire round, but just that last thing you spoke about, like that was sound like such a dark place. How did you pull yourself out of that?
there was a couple of things that I always kind of knew deep down when I'm in like the worst scenario,
Yes.
and I always kind of like have to contemplate and say like, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? Um, because I had to depend so much on my coach and my husband, I was in a system. I used to kind of like always depend on myself, make my own decision. Example, like losing that version of yourself, being in a system that you have to ask your coach for everything. But I was never like that before. I was always independent. And I had to ask my coach, like, do I do this? Do I do that? And after a while, I start kind of like second guessing my decision. So then I was so burnt out, and I said to my coach, I said, I'm not maxing out tomorrow, and I'm resting. Like, even though we were about 2 weeks out from the second Europeans, I had an injury, I was burnt out. I just told my coach I wasn't going training. I changed sports psychologists because I need new, fresh sports psychologist that needs to talk to me different. I changed my whole system around. I said I need new implements and I need to different. So then I made a decision not to go training, and I needed rest. I asked myself a question, and how much, like my psychologist had asked me, how are you actually feeling right now? Like, what do you rate your battery percentage? I literally said I was like 20 or 30% battery.
Great
And he
question.
says, well, how are you supposed to go max out tomorrow? Because I was so sick prior before. And I says, yeah, you're right. And I says, right, I need to start making my own decisions because I was listening so much to people, so other people's input and noises around me. I just cut everything out and I made my own decisions too. I'm not going training anymore. I'm not talking to anybody. I turned down this podcast, even though it would have gotten me better media attention or something. I turned down in other interviews, and like I blocked out all the noise and I started to kind of like heal myself, and I started to get myself better. Every day I'd ask myself, like, what's my battery percentage now? I'd say like right 35. Then I'd say I'm 40. Then I'd say I'm 55. And then I was like, right, try get your battery up to 80, 90 for that competition. You can only be honest to yourself for a certain amount until it
Yeah,
collapses.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
had to be honest to myself and couldn't lie to myself and push any further. So
yeah,
that's when I knew. I said, I'll make a statement to get my second medal, and I will earn that right then to say I'm retired. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Prioritizing yourself is just,
Mhm.
it's vital. It's so important.
Oh yeah, 1000%. And if anybody tells me to do anything right now, I'd be like, no, go away.
No, you're
No,
like,
absolutely not.
my
Don't
Yeah,
decision.
tell me what to do. I
Yeah.
can do myself. Well, obviously, in the best way. Like, if somebody tells me to go training right now, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I need to know what I want to do first and put myself first. Or it taught me like different values of me and prioritizing my happiness first.
yeah,
And your
perfect.
self-reflection just, again, shines bright there that you're able to step back, analyze, and then heal yourself. Like they're brilliant things for people listening to take up on. It's just really, really basic, but really good advice. It's a brilliant way to look at things.
Mhm.
Yeah, literally is knowing where you are, what's your surrounding, who is talking to you. At that time, I had a couple of people that was really negative around me that I couldn't even see. And then I said, this is so negative. I need to block this shit out right now. And the minute I blocked it out, I was like, I need to listen to my gut instinct again. So once I start blocking out of all the bad negative energies that I was feeling, then I just kind of got myself now. So now I'm a bit more wary on who I give my time and energies to. You
Mm,
know,
Yeah.
like I
yeah,
can receive a text message of somebody and it's like, oh, she's a really nice person. Let's like Claire, basically. You messaged me a couple times. I'm like, oh, I'm ready now. I'll do this podcast here right now. I like this girl. I'll give energy to this. But then I would get a text message and I would feel like they would be trying to take advantage of me too much. I would say no. Does that
yeah,
make sense there right
yeah,
now?
That your
yeah, yeah,
instincts just
Yeah.
bang on there, and
yeah,
it's just again really, really straightforward, but just solid advice.
yeah.
Certainly, like I've taken a lot from this conversation too.
Yeah, yeah. But like you, Claire, like you say, like the kind of like it's basic stuff, but it's basic stuff that so many people don't do, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like, do you know what I
they
mean? Like
they
getting rid
don't.
of, getting rid of the negative energy out of your life or giving time to people who just don't deserve it or not prioritizing yourself. It's like it's just sometimes it's easier said than done, isn't it? And to be able to do that shows so much strength,
I
Yeah,
have
you know?
figured and learned the smaller your circle, the better.
Yeah, I agree. I
makes
completely
sense.
agree.
It
The
does. It
smaller
does.
your circle, the better. The less people I talk to, the better. I don't know,
Yeah.
like, and I
Absolutely.
just come out with the most randomest thing and like launching, like, example, another salon, a salon after because I just listen to myself and I follow my gut instincts on doing what I want to do and stop speaking because sometimes I felt like when I was speaking, somebody could actually navigate me the other ways.
Mm,
So I just kind of stopped telling people what my ideas are, what my thoughts are running through my mind. I just kind of like talk to myself majority and I'm like, right, okay, what do I need to do in order? I'm just kind of in my own world. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like when you're in your own flow and you're in your own world, it's really it's a bit like I have like a barrier and whoever wants to go into my sort of circle, they kind of have to take time in order for me to let them in now because I
mm,
had so many people that went I let into my circle and I just felt like they just took advantage of me so much.
yeah.
And I know I'm only talking from a 28 years old and but the likes of
It's
simple
yeah,
friends or that has hurt me in the past and now I'm just having 10 times barrier up that. So I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah. And
no.
having boundaries is just as important as anything else, isn't it?
Oh no, 1000%. I wouldn't go out for a random cup of coffee with somebody if I didn't feel that I feel gen like genuine off them. You wouldn't see me going for a random cup of coffee or anything. Yeah, work is work, but I wouldn't put myself out there now where I used to before. Do you get me like
Mm,
in
It's,
what I'm
yeah.
you
trying
know,
to
your
say?
your
Yeah.
gut instinct has served you well, Tammy. I think that, again, everyone can take a lot from that to listen to that gut instinct and it won't put you wrong. It certainly brought you to a brilliant place and you're only getting started.
Yeah, 1000%, fingers crossed.
Fingers
And
crossed.
when time is right, I'll announce
Your next
my
next
next move,
venture.
let's say.
I saw you're doing the high rock stuff as well now. Jesus Christ, it'll be like
Oh,
doing medals everywhere now for
oh
that.
no, I don't even like I go to my own gym in CFPT, some classes, but my high rocks, like my training days are over. I'm happy being a mom and being a business owner now. And
Yeah.
to be honest, when I go to the gym now, all I do is I just talk to members. Even when you're warming up, I'm like, what's going on? I just sit there and talk to members and the coaches to be saying to me like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be training. I'm like, I'm just tired. Just leave me alone. I'm at that stage where I go to communicate and be
Mm,
socialized with members. That's all I go for.
yeah.
I do some high rock stuff, but I won't be competing in it. I compete for the crack, basically. But you
Yeah.
won't see me trying to be a professional athlete. The table has turned now. My husband is actually qualified for Worlds.
Wow.
So I'm
Oh,
just I'm just like, you do what you do. Just don't complain to me anymore. This is what you wanted.
This is what you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
you're the support team now, Tammy, as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like he's going to different countries to qualify for like worlds and to
Yeah.
compete. I'm just a support team and I get to go with them as the support.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's wonderful. I love that. Like, and it's very like fit family, which is cool as well, which is
yeah.
really nice.
yeah.
We're just going to do a little quick fire round to finish up. So these are a couple of fun questions we ask all our guests. So question number one, Tammy, what would your death row meal be?
Oh, death row. Somebody asked me this. My death row meal would be a bowl of pho, which is Vietnamese noodles. I've
Ooh.
been like, that's something I've lived off all my life. I would eat like a bowl of noodles all day, every day.
You can't go wrong. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
Lovely.
delicious food.
yeah.
Your go-to karaoke song. I know you were a fan of singing, but I'm sure like everyone, you love a bit of karaoke.
Uh, I'd say karaoke song. Oh my God. I know it's the easiest karaoke song is BTS. Smooth like butter. I always sing that with my daughter.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's different. I don't really know. That's the one thing that's popped in my head for the first.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a hard one. People are always like, oh, like, and I
Mm,
was like, oh, so many fun ones. I like which one would I
yeah.
pick? But
You either have
um,
one or you don't, isn't there? It's kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
straight
what's
on.
like the most funnest that you probably think of first? Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. I love like a bit of Madonna and karaoke. I don't think you can go wrong there because it's like everyone knows the words, so then they join in. So that's
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or My Heart Will Go On by Titanic. You know, everybody knows that song.
everyone knows that
Mm.
song. And that's an
Mm.
ambitious choice, but I
It
respect
is, isn't it? Yeah.
that. That's a hard song to sing.
There's a few high notes in there.
Quite a
Jesus.
few. But again, she's very driven, so she's going to get them. She's going to, I have no doubt she'll get there. And Tom, we didn't actually ask you this, but if do you have a pet?
No, I actually don't have a pet. I have
Oh,
a goldfish.
goldfish. Okay, well, if our question is, if your pet could talk, what would your pet say about you?
That's a fucking mad
Oh,
goldfish.
Goldfish.
I'd say the pet would probably say like, uh, feed me more or something because
The goldfish
I
like,
always would forget to feed the goldfish.
mm,
Does that
okay, yeah.
do you get me? Like
Feed
my
me
dad
more.
has the koi fish in his house.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, so
Mm,
I would always feed
Beautiful.
them, but sometimes it's like I walk past and they flip their tail to remind me to feed them.
Wow.
Real, yeah, it's weird. And
Yeah.
then I'd run back and I'd feed them and then I
Because koi fish are so you can nearly like pet them. Like they're very
mm,
intelligent as well. Like
yeah.
I think so because when I do be walking past them, they would like as if like flip the water as to make splashes. So
yeah.
I turn
Yeah.
around like, oh my God, I forgot to feed them yesterday, so then I feed them today.
So yeah, they don't let you forget. No, they're
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful fish as well.
yeah.
And last question, what store would you like to max out a credit card in?
What store?
Yeah, what shop or where would you like to go to your,
Oh
money
gosh,
credit card?
1000% Chanel.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Classic answer as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with a simple classic Chanel bag. That's what I think so. You can wear anything like a tracksuit, anything, but your classic Chanel bag could just go. That's the one thing that I would go. I wouldn't go for Louis Vuitton. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you're right. Those timeless classic pieces, they never age. Like you
No.
said, you can be in a tracksuit in your gym gear, but if you've got your Chanel bag, like you
Yeah.
still feel really
Yeah.
glam. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
love
Imagine,
that answer.
imagine I went to the Chanel and was like tap 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 tap. My husband would be like, and she said it's Claire's fault.
It's Claire's
Yeah.
fault, but it's a good investment. It's a good investment. So,
Yeah. No,
again,
absolutely.
timeless, timeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tammy, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been a long time in the works. We're all listening as well to this, very excited to see what the next chapter is for yourself. And I just love the sound of a book for you. I just think
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Motivational
fingers
speaking as
crossed.
well, that would be good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Somebody would probably listen to this, or like I do 1000% believe. Like every time I tell my story on a podcast, of my younger age, or I go on stage to like say about my past and how I have overcome it. I've always gotten compliments of how real and how touching and how
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
inspired they feel. And I just know that if I write it in a book, which I've had, fingers crossed, like I really do feel that it could be one of the best sellers. I do know that because when you tell your story,
Mm.
everyone feels uplifted. But
Yeah.
in the book,
Yeah.
it has smaller details that
Yeah.
nobody knows, you
And you
know?
keep them until that book deal
Yeah.
comes in as well.
Yeah. Fingers crossed I'll
Fingers
find a publisher
crossed.
to um
I think
take
they could
my
be
life.
lining up pretty soon because again,
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna
fantastic
have a
story.
problem getting one, to be honest.
Really?
I think
I
so.
did have
Yeah.
one in the UK and I just said no, I'm just not going. I said time is not right now. When
Yeah.
I do know my path will cross some stage with
Mm,
somebody.
yeah.
Do you get
And
me? Like,
I've
yeah,
had conversations with people and they've said like kind of go for an Irish publisher. That's just something that I was told. So maybe do an Irish publisher in your future, maybe.
yeah, no, 1000%. I'll take up on that
yeah.
and I'll go with an
Mm.
Irish one because when I went with the UK when my instinct just kind of said, no, it's just not the right time right now because I was setting up Malahide. And even though
Yeah.
they contacted me to send the rest of the books over, I just felt like I'm based here in Ireland and my all my like readers would be in Ireland. It wouldn't be in
Yeah.
the UK. But you look, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything can
I look
happen.
forward. I can already see it in my mind's eye in the shelf on Easton's, and I'll be there buying it for sure.
Let's manifest it. And I'm
We're gonna
like, yeah,
manifest it.
no.
I
Yeah.
love the manifesting. I love it, Tammy. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.